everybody, it's Durger time. Welcome back to another episode of Total Extreme Wrestling 2016 Cyberpunk Reborn. We're small, baby. We finally did it. We moved up the chain, and we are in business. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on here. We got some mail. Rises to small. Once again, we have risen. So now we've been given a grace period. You're entered 1 month grace period after rising in size. While this phase doesn't affect, the company is immune to popularity loss to regional battle defeats. So this is important because we were at the bottom of the pile previously. Now we are going to be competing against everybody else in the regional battles, which is somewhere over here? Yeah, there we are. So regional battles, tri-state area. So right now in the regional results, we're nowhere, right? We got Chikara number 3, NXT number 1, Ring of Honor number 1 in the Philly area. So with CZW and Evolve rounding out 4 and 5. In National Battle, nothing. So if I remember correctly, and in fact, we probably can find this out right here. Regional battle happens when each region at the end of every month in which there are 3 or more active companies that are present, and they are ranked from the best show rating of the previous month. The winner gets momentum and prestige bonus. The loser gets increasingly stiff penalties to the same 2 values that the awesome popularity loss. Companies are eligible if they are active during the previous month, are below cult size, and have a F+ to D+ popularity in the region, and are not a foreign company. They're volatile. The companies can swap wins quickly and multiple times over the course of several months as they outdo each other with good cards. So we're kind of in that ballpark now, which means that if we're not here, we could really end up getting hurt. So we got to start talking about doing good shows because last couple of shows weren't that great in terms of actual ratings. I mean, they were fine, but they weren't. They definitely weren't the best that we had. Can we see our previous recap last show? What did we have? We ended up having a total of a rating of a 25. Right? Like, it's not fantastic, but we do have some momentum going forward. We got 1 month free where we're not going to have to worry about that. We have random access memories in 13 days, followed by regular Cyberpunk show the following month. Now we're going to dip into some money because that last one actually cost us quite a bit of funds, which is unfortunate. We did hire some bunch of new people. They're all relatively inexpensive. I'm happy where we are financially in terms of what we're paying. I was thinking about maybe bringing in like a slightly better known person as like a guest here and there, because right now our top 2 draws are probably Kingston and Kimberly in terms of popularity, with Kingston at a 30 and Kimberly at a 20. Actually, Whisper, surprisingly, 17, not bad for what we're paying him. We got to keep that in mind that he's actually pretty popular in this area. Razorhawk probably also not too far off. I think we're paying him a little bit more though. What are we paying to Whisper? 300. Razorhawk we're paying 400. Still not bad versus Eddie Kingston's 800 and Kimberly's 500. But overall, I think we're financially we're not horrendous. Kingston probably is the worst of the prices, but his skills and probably his popularity makes up for it. Now, I don't believe we can get broadcasting yet. I would like to see if we could, but I have a suspicion that that won't be the case. So let's go ahead and any style that will negotiate. At this point, I can't imagine there's anybody. So this is the thing that, like, I'm hoping 2020... I know TEW2020 is doing a lot of changes with their broadcasting as well. I hope, like, right now, it doesn't take much for a wrestling promotion to go on YouTube and Twitch, right? Like, theoretically, we should be able to have that right now. We're not going to get any money from it, but maybe we get a little momentum, a little bit more nationwide popularity bonus. There's really no reason why YouTube would reject having Cyberpunk Pro Wrestling on their platform, right? There would be no negotiation. After all, I'm on YouTube, and if I'm on there, I'm sure Cyberpunk could be on there. So that's a little unrealistic, but that is what it is right now. So we're not going to get any of that. We are just going to have to put on a damn good show, and I don't think we're going to do any more hiring right now. I like where we're at. I like the teams that we have. We got a lot of teams. Well, some teams. 2 different stables. A fight for a tag belt. I think we got some stuff going on. So let's go ahead. Let's try to put a damn good show on, and hopefully we don't fall right back to local. All right, so week 4 in May is upon us. Let's quickly just check the mail here and see what's going on in the news first. Nothing really. Some new teams at NXT UK. Nothing really going on. Inoki's gone from the business, probably being a shady mob senator now, I guess. That's interesting. Eddie Kingston's loaned to the FIP, so, okay. And then Kimberly signed a new deal with Shine. That should be fine, though that may affect our availability, so something we'll have to look at. All right, so nothing else going on. We did gain about $2,000 again from end of that month. So, not horrible. We're spending about $3,000 a show, and we're pulling in about 5. So we're gonna have a deficit this month because we're putting on 2 shows. I think that's fine because I think the investment in it's just we're only doing it twice or once every 2 months. I don't think the negative from the pay-per-view is going to kill us. We'll gain it a little bit back, and then we'll lose it again. But I think the investment in both our wrestlers and the trying to build up the prestige and momentum is important. That reminds me, though, before we do anything, I do want to change Cyberpunk to a 1-hour show. I just think it's I don't think we have enough time to fill, and we were stretching them out too thin. The pay-per-view being 2.5 hours should be fine, but if I find that this is too short, we can do 1.5 hours, do like 90 minutes. But right now, I feel like I'd rather go a little bit leaner because I think we're getting penalty hits from just them getting too exhausted during matches because we're stretching time too much, and I don't want to use that many wrestlers at any given time. So let's go ahead and get to the show. All right, 2.5 hours. Siena Baseball Field has been auto-booked. Let's find out why. But first, we have a locker room incident. Just a wrestler's court. Silverhawk was brought before wrestler's court, accused of forgetting to shake another worker's hand, and Kimberly told him to buy everyone drinks. That's fine. Let's go ahead and medal. And yeah, this looks fine. Let's just try to get some relationships going. Nothing. Right now we have no relationships, no notable personalities, and no other factors. Prick's still out injured. So why are we going here? We're expecting 236 fans. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. I was like, why are we going to a stadium? So we should be going to a generic venue, which is fine. So it looks like our pay-per-views are getting 230, and our regulars are getting about 100. So as we're talking about maybe making our own little rink, like a little garage somewhere, we should probably future-proof it and have something that can fit about 400 or something for that. That should probably be where we're looking at, because we might gain a lot more people. But right now, it looks like comfortably we can probably expect about 250 fans at a pay-per-view and 97 for a regular monthly show. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and book our first ever, it's not a pay-per-view, Supercard. It's not really going to be that super of a card, but we will do it. Our first ever main show, I guess you could say, non-monthly show. We got 150 minutes. It needs to be between 112 minutes and 188 minutes, so we do have some time that we can go over. We have no TV show or requirements or anything like that, so we're just going to go ahead and book the show, and then I'll see you guys on the flip side. All right, we are back. We got 112 minutes plus one pre-show match. Every single wrestler that's available has wrestled, which is probably not the most cost-effective way to run this, but I didn't want to risk anyone being upset. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at our first little super card. It's not that super of a card, but in a pre-show, we start with Ace Austin, Nexus, and Timmy Luretten. Ace Austin gets his win back and defeats Nexus and Timmy Luretten in 6 minutes by a pinfall. Crowd does not seem pretty thrilled about Ace Austin wrestling, even though he's an upper mid-carder. That's fine. We'll have to deal with it. I'm not sure why that happens. I don't know whether it's just a gimmick doesn't click with a character, with the audience, or what particularly fires that. I guess I could always go into the dirt sheets at some point and find out what exactly makes a crowd turn on a person. But overall, it's fine. It's a fine pre-show match. I just really wanted to make sure everyone was on the card so they didn't yell at me. Sometimes they get upset. I don't really want to have any behavioral issues of this early in the game, so I'm willing to invest a little bit of money in just to get everyone on there. We open the show for real with the match for the Cyberpunk tag. So a little spoiler, I guess. I'm actually currently filming a bunch of Chikara episodes as I'm running a 2005 save. I didn't announce it yet, but I'm too lazy to edit this out. So, by the way, expect to see that in a couple weeks. And I'm going to keep on getting Chikara and Cyberpunk messed up in the meantime because they're so close to in the alphabet, I guess. But yes, so the Cyberpunk Tag Team Championship match. The Boosters versus Cyberhawk. Cyberhawk defeats the Boosters in 15 minutes and win the Cyberpunk Tag Team titles. Got the show off to a strong start. It was a worked crowd match. They're all about evenly matched. Briggs is kind of the weak link there. It's about where we would expect for these guys, so not too bad. And yes, that means that Tron, the Cyberhawks themselves, are in fact the tag team champions for now. So we have the beginnings of the stable taking gold. We have an announcement in the ring that says that due to there being no valid number one contendership currently, the Whisper, having been undefeated so far in Cyberpunk, has been granted by the Cyberpunk authorities the chance to face Kingston for the championship title match tonight. Does fine. No worker improvements, no nothing to note. But it does set up our main event for the evening. And we have, well, this was a match. So we have Gaff versus Kimberly in a hardcore match. Basically weapons everywhere. After Gaff assaulted Kimberly, Gaff actually continues to do so and defeats Kimberly in 11 minutes by pinfall following interference by Briggs. The chaos did not help. The chaos of the match helped to hide how badly both of them were performing. Got the crowd buzzing. Some people didn't like it, though. But, you know, what are you going to do? It does fine. I kind of thought it was going to do a little bit better. Kimberly should have a decent hardcore rating, considering the work she did in CZW, but maybe it's not as high as I would think. But that leaves us with Gaff once again using his numbers of his gang to out-wrestle Kimberly, and ultimately, despite the weapons, leaving her at a loss. Yeah, okay, neither of them have strong hardcore. It's good to know. We have Kefka versus Young Boy Jody, our poor, poor jobber. Didn't have much heat, had terrible wrestling. Actually, had a better score than the previous matches, though. Kefka drew a Young Boy Jody when a referee lost control and stopped the match. What? I didn't met. Huh. I don't remember selecting a draw, but okay, sure. It was a calm the match. I didn't really care about the wins or losses too much. This was really more of a match to calm the crowd down a bit, and I want them buzzing. I guess I misclicked instead of draw. Okay, well, Kefka and Jody draw. Good job, Jody. I guess you kind of technically won that. Okay. Oh, what happened here? 0%. How's that possible? Um, is that possible? Is that a glitch? But okay. It's a poor match. Bushido defeats Chris Statlander, his future tag team partner. Got the crowd hotter. She got an above average rating for her old school face gimmick. They both had about a 28 to 27. That has to be wrong. Afterwards, they have a post match where Bushido kind of lets a hand pick Chris up, and they kind of have a handshake in the center of the ring, kind of clearly showing they have mutual admiration of each other's talents, and thus starting a friendship that will lead into a tag team between Chris and Bushido, not Kushida. That was weird. How was that a 0? I don't understand. In a terrible match, Brian Connor versus the Beast. Connor slays the Beast in 9 minutes. Connor seemed off his game, had down to a 20. Beast had an 18, which is actually about where he would expect him to be, but he's improving a Rumble performance, had a 19. That's not great. It's weird. Freestyle segment. We have, after the match, Brian Connor comes out on the microphone, talks about the hard work he puts in here, how he's willing to fight anybody, any beast, any monster on the roster, calls out Whisper as a coward, who's, willing to be monstrous in the ring, and basically he's got a bone to pick after his loss to him, and seems a little shaken up by what had happened post-match with the Whisper, where he tried to drag him off to God knows where. Whisper doesn't come out to respond, leaving Connor just kind of unsure what's going on. Got the crowd hotter, though. We have Neuromancer in a rematch against Razorhawk. Didn't have much heat, had terrible wrestling. Neuromancer ends up taking his win back and defeats Razorhawk in 12 minutes, but with a fast roll-up. They don't seem to click, we know that, so we're kind of just moving it along, but we're giving Neuromancer a little bit of momentum in case we want to fire on a rematch with Kingston. Not much to say about this, no improvements or anything like that. To get to 25, and of course to not harm Razorhawk's momentum that much. Afterwards, all members of Tron, including the 2 tag team champions, assault Neuromancer after his win, beating him down in the ring with their sheer numbers. It's fine. It does 22. Not much to say about it, but it basically is there to kind of give Razorhawk a little bit of momentum back after losing to Neuromancer, and still giving that kind of aura of the strength and numbers of these mysterious mechanoids. In the final main event here, we have Eddie Kingston versus The Whisper. And as a decent reaction, subpar wrestling, though. Whisper definitely is a weak link here, but we really don't have anyone of Kingston's caliber yet. Kingston defeats The Whisper in 15 minutes by pinfall, breaking The Whisper's short win streak, and makes defense number 1 of his grand championship. They both were tiring. They didn't seem to click, so they don't really work well. Crowd was buzzing, though. No improvements. 27. Not a fantastic end to a show. Which is unfortunate. Increased popularity in one region. We are getting a lot of penalties now for our broadcasting and production, but we can't afford to do anything about that. But we're still gaining popularity, so as long as we're not losing that, we can keep those penalties. Gets an E. It's not great. I kind of want to give some encouragement because Connor were both and Whisper were both a little off their game. And let's compliment on a great performance for Bushido. So yeah, look, that must have been a glitch because I got a 25 there, which is perfectly right where it should be. Very odd. Please. Perfect. All right. So end of the month, we got a whole bunch of retirings. Again, everyone's just retiring, apparently. Holy crap. The Raven's retiring. There's Karis is retiring. Terry Funk's retiring. Wow. It's a lot. It's a lot of people getting out of business. Abdullah the Butcher's retiring, probably for the best. Easy Money retiring. Jeez. So that's a thing, I guess. Yeah, that's a lot of retirees. So yeah, we lost a lot of money there. About $4,000 just in wrestling. But we'll make that up next month. I'm not that concerned about it. Gained a little bit of momentum, just a tiny little bit. Show could have been better. I think we need to look at finding another person for the main event that's got slightly better ratings, similar to Kingston. I think we'll look at that in the next episode, see if we can find maybe a slightly stronger main event roster that we can kind of work with that can get us a little bit more consistency in our finals, because that's where we're rated the most on. So if we have a lackluster lower card, but we at least find somebody that's comparable that can kind of put on a decent show in the main event, we'll be able to kind of maintain any of those losses as we're developing our people. So we were also talking about investments. Obviously, we can't do it yet, but we know we did about $250 in a pay-per-view or Supercard, and then about 90 to 80 or 100-ish for a regular show. So if we were looking at 250, would be about 6,000 to create. I think I would want to create about a 500 capacity. I don't think we have the money for that though. 400, 350. So maybe like a 350 or 400. We can probably build that capital up to do it. I think it'll help us in the long term. Don't necessarily need to do it right now. We'll see what we're getting in money and profit as now that we're in small. But we'll have to take a look at that going forward. Something that we'll play on probably in a couple months' time in the game. Eventually, we'll make that sort of little hotbed for us and try to get the benefit for it. Anyways, guys, that was it for today. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next time.